Hello, today's story is going to be read by me, and we have a little visitor. And this is known as the difficult duck. Yes, she's different. As you can see, she has a lovely pair of glasses and a stethoscope just to keep an eye on anybody who's not feeling well. But the story is about her today. And who's written it? This book has been written, or this story has been written by Nicola Baxter. So, the story is called The Difficult Duck. What do ducks like to do? Well, they enjoy swimming on ponds, where they can dive and dabble and generally do duck-like things. They quite like foraging in the reeds and weeds at the edge of ponds too, and they're often quite happy to gobble up bread thrown to them by passing humans. Those are the things that ducks like to do, aren't they? Not when it comes to Daphne Duck, they're not. Daphne really is the most difficult duck you have ever met. She lives on Five Meadows Farm, where she regularly drives the farmer to distraction. Let me explain what she's like. Now, most farmers, as you know, get up very early in the morning. The little birds that sing the dawn chorus while it is still dark have barely started their practice scales when most farmers are hopping out of bed. But have you ever heard a duck joining the dawn chorus? You've guessed it, Daphne does. At 3 o'clock in the morning, when even farmers are usually in their beds, Daphne sits on the bathroom windowsill of the farmhouse and begins the loudest quacking you have ever heard. Every morning, the farmer wakes up with a start, for his bedroom is right next to the bathroom, and I'm afraid he mutters several rather rude words before he pulls a pillow over his head and tries to get half an hour's sleep. Even through several thousand feathers, it is surprisingly easy to hear the loud quack of Daphne Duck. It is also surprisingly difficult to go back to sleep after being woken by an alarm duck. Somehow that quacking sound seems to echo in his head. Outside the farmhouse of Five Meadows Farm, there is a beautiful duck pond. It is fringed with reeds and filled with fish. On the lily pads in the middle, several little green frogs croak and hop. No duck could wish for a finer home. But will Daphne deign to live on the perfect pond? Oh no, she makes a nuisance of herself, waddling around the farmyard, bouncing first, boom, into the pig's water trough and then into the horses. In fact, all the animals are fed up with having Daphne's muddy feet paddling in their water. But it seems impossible to stop her. Even when the pig grunts and the horse snorts at her, Daphne pays no attention to either of them. What's a little mud between friends, she quacks. It's lovely, healthy stuff. Everyone should eat a little mud every day. Of course, Daphne was wrong about that, as she was about most things. So I don't want to hear that you've been munching mud, all right? Most ducks eat pondweed and fish and other water delicacies. Daphne's diet, of course, was quite different. That duck liked apples. Yes, round, ripe, red apples were her favourite food. And she didn't mind where she stole them from. The farmer's fruit bowl was often raided whenever he foolishly forgot to close the kitchen window. Of course, it is not natural for ducks to eat apples. Their beaks are not built for it. But Daphne seemed to manage very well. She munched the ripe fruits, core and all, and seemed to thrive on them. Indeed, no other duck had such glossy plumage. I expect you are wondering why the farmer bothered to keep this troublesome bird. More than once his wife found her eyes straying through the duck recipes in her largest cookery book, and the farmer often dreamed he could smell the delicious duck aroma of duck à la orange, especially at 3 o'clock in the morning. But in their heart of hearts, neither the farmer nor his wife could forget that Daphne was also the best guard dog they had ever kept. On the night when the chicken thieves crept into the yard, Daphne not only woke the farmer, but pecked one of the thieves so badly on the nose that it has looked strangely like a beak ever since, and the police had very difficulty finding and spotting the culprit later the same night. When a boy drove one of the farmer's tractors right out of the yard just to prove that he could, Daphne sat herself firmly on his head and wouldn't get off until his mother arrived to take him home and send him to bed without any supper. But it was with the apple stealers that Daphne really excelled herself. She attacked them so furiously that every single one of the gang thought that a whole flock of geese had been let loose in the orchard. Of course it was night, so they could not see that a solitary duck on a mission dear to her heart was pecking their knees and flapping her wings in their faces. Although the apple stealers were never caught, not one of them ever troubled the farmer again. So that is why Daphne does not now need to splash in the animals' water troughs, though she sometimes still does. For she has her own pool of water in the orchard and as many apples as she can eat, which is a lot. Each spring she brings up a brood of ducklings under the blossom-laden boughs, and at 3 o'clock in the morning the farmer has bought double-strength earplugs and sleeps with a smile on his face. And she is surrounded with her other ducklings. And obviously they all have different jobs. One is a sailor, one is a nurse, one is a builder, and one is